Besides me, only a tornado can send cows flying. Our disaster film series. Today, it is tornadoes. Tornadoes pop up yearly. The Americas account for most of them, with America itself leading the pack at 75%. Fire tornado, electro tornado, water spout, sharknado, each one is unique. For me, born by the Yangtze River, typhoons, hurricanes, and tornadoes were things I only saw in news and movies as a kid. In all my life, just 2 weeks ago, man, that opened my eyes. Typhoon Maysak sauntered along and, rare for it, crossed the Yangtze River, spawning an EF2 tornado. So, I got to ask, if even a level 2 is that terrifying, how do you folks in America deal with those max level, epic storms? Oklahoma summer spring with thunderstorms. Near graduation, a few teens snuck out late at night, doing homework in their car and chatting away. A crack of thunder boomed in the flickering darkness. A whirlwind suddenly swept toward them, roaring and making the world spin. Sent literally to sky.
The tornado that struck northern Oklahoma last night took the lives of 4 high school students when it picked up their car and tossed it hundreds of feet into the air.
The next day, sunshine abounded, birds chirped, and flowers bloomed. Last night's storm made the morning news, but folks were long used to it. Folks in the car remarked on that incredible tornado, while others fled in fear. They griped that they were not the ones who caught it.
The goal of a documentary is to actually document something, right?
This odd-looking, armor-clad modified vehicle of theirs is their bread and butter. They make a living chasing tornadoes professionals, known as storm chasers. Team lead Pete grumbled and griped. His squad earned their pay by filming tornadoes and logging data for weather departments. The squad has 5 folks. In leader Pete's truck are cameramen Lucas and Jacob, and behind them trails a weather van. Daryl, the driver and cameraman who is black, and Allison, the sole female and meteorology expert who just joined the team. They spend their years on the road, chasing any sign they find. Do not think that since tornadoes abound, they are easy to chase. Even the most precise weather radar cannot pinpoint when or where one might pop up. Pressure, temperature swings, even terrain, all are confounding factors. But most of all, it is luck. Their last score was a year ago, and the crew is mulling where to head next. The National Weather Service issued another tornado alert. Turns out, last night's small tornado was just an appetizer. Today, 5 states showed signs. The closest to them was Silverton, 200 kilometers away.
North of here.
Well, then we better haul ass.
If you're in the path of this storm, you could be in for a very long day.
Before we carry on with today's story, thanks to Juan for their great support.
Hey, so today is June 16th, and this is my time capsule message to the future me.
In Silverton town, the weather was clear. Donnie, a high school senior with that clear-eyed look, and his younger brother Trey sat before the camera early that morning to start logging their lives, chattering on about their youthful woes. College applications, term papers, girls today is their high school graduation ceremony. Their father, the vice principal, tasked them with filming a short documentary about their graduation ceremony and their hopes for the future. Dig a pit, bury some dirt, seal it up as a time capsule.
Hey, come on. I'm having breakfast here.
Donnie aimed his camera at his father, Gary hoping to crack a joke, only to be shut down by his dad's words. Ever since his mother passed away, Donnie had craved his father's attention. But his dad was a stern, no-nonsense sort, always swamped with work, and being a teen, Donnie was sensitive and rebellious, so they had a huge role before he headed off to school.
No. If it's not my room, it's my grade, or it's a stupid time capsule thing, which I'm working my ass off trying to get done. No, what's the point? Nothing's ever good enough for you.
Stop for a second. Let's talk.
No, busy day, Dad. Can't you see that?
Pete's squad pulled over to restock supplies. Lately, he has been swamped and has made zero headway for over a year. His backers want to pull their funding, and Pete has talked himself hoarse, making men promises that this time they would encounter something unprecedented. Peter relies on experience ever since meteorologist Allison joined the team. They had missed out on several chases. Peter, of course, pinned all the blame on her just as she happened to walk past and hear every word clearly.
It's an instinct game, and she ain't got it.
Once Pete hung up, he hopped in the car to chat with Allison about their next storm chasing spot.
Okay, so
Pete wanted to chase the biggest one, but Allison felt only the nearest one, Silverton, was within reach. Since they were both already on edge, they started the bickering at the slightest disagreement. They bickered for ages, but thankfully, Daniel spoke up fairly, and Pete ultimately took Allison's advice.
Our money's on her.
Talking about once this hits internet, she's gonna beat him off with a stick. Trust me.
4s, 5s, all kinds.
I'm talking 5s, 6s, 5s for sure. Come on.
In the storm chasing community, besides pro teams like Pete's, there are also some ragtag outfits risking their lives, like Donk, the one with the red neck, and his pal Rivers. These two are a pair of YouTubers pulling stunts online and chasing storms part-time, fancying themselves extreme sports bloggers. Even though their views suck, that cannot dampen the duo's dreams of going viral. That day, the two of them were at home messing with their flame cars again. They wrecked the family pool. Donk's mom started cursing up a storm. Just then, Pete and his crew happened to pass by top dogs in the scene. For sure, since Donk spotted them right away, the two dudes left their mess behind and chased after them. This tank-like modded car is a renowned tornado intercept vehicle within the storm chasing community. Titus, built for storm chasing, is clad in 2 cm thick steel plates, fitted with bulletproof glass, and weighs 5.4 tons akin to a light armored vehicle. Tardis comes from ancient Rome, a name that is easy to recall, meaning safe and grand, much like our own Big Strong. It is body-fitted with various weather data collection systems and 360-degree shockproof cameras. On its roof lies a turret, akin to one on a tank, letting the storm-chasing team observe their surroundings in 360 degrees. Its killer feature, the spikes beneath the chassis. Once activated, the struts splay out, driving 4 rivets 20 centimeters into the ground enough to withstand 200 miles per hour gales, making it a mobile bunker. This car's prototype is the TIV-2, the ride of renowned US documentary director and the legendary storm chaser, Sean Casey. The Dominator is a modified Dodge Ram 3500 heavy-duty pickup, boasting a 6.7-liter diesel engine, 625 horsepower, and superb off-road capabilities. The coolest design is its air suspension. When the tornado hits, the car can instantly squat down to stop high winds from blasting in from underneath and flipping it over. Custom hydraulic spikes were also fully recreated for the film. Industry lore has it he once ventured inside a Category 4 tornado, so professional Mythbusters had to come and check it out.
Let's do it. All right.
Adam and Jamie snagged a jetliner and used its engines to mimic a storm's point-blank blast. At 250 kilometers per hour, wind speeds akin to a top-tier EF5 tornado. The TRV-2, aside from some minor rivet bending, remained firmly bolted to the ground. Nearby regular cars looked like toys in comparison. Though called an interceptor, it is not meant to stop a tornado. That would be sheer folly. The main goal is to let the storm chaser get as close to the tornado as possible, even inside the vortex, to gather data from a relatively safe spot. This first-hand data. It also furnishes meteorologists with prize research data. After all, they risk their lives for it, so the pay is hefty too. The graduation ceremony is about to kick off. Silverton High School's campus buzzes with life, and the Downey brothers are filming all over with their camera. Just then, Trey aimed his lens at his brother's crush, Caitlin.
Dave, you'll not get the internship. It's as simple as that.
Oh, dude. Now's your chance, man. Vulnerable girl.
3 years of high school, too scared to speak. If he missed this godsend chance, his lifelong happiness would be ruined. Spurred on by his brother, Donnie resolved to live for himself, just this once. He chased Caitlin to the diner, while Trey, camera in tow, hid in the shadows, eager to see him make a fool of himself. Donnie tiptoed over, and to his surprise, his approach worked. Turns out, Caitlin needed to submit an internship application. Today is the deadline. But just then, her PC crashed, and with no backup of that video footage, she grew so frantic she nearly burst into tears. Donnie's blood surged. He puffed out his chest and vowed to help her reshoot it. Right away, big talker that he was. Now Dad's chore fell squarely onto his little brother Trey's shoulders.
You are kidding me.
What are you doing?
Confirmed that a tornado has hit Riverside. All of Shaw County remains under a severe thunderstorm.
The storm-chasing team was resting up at a hotel outside town. The television cut in with breaking news. The nearest tornado had made a landfall, but not here. Peter lost all patience with Allison as they bickered. A sudden loud clatter erupted outside hail had arrived.
Look at the size of them!
Only extreme, severe convective weather can spawn hail. This meant a storm system was gathering right overhead. Life's 3 joys, things found again, false alarms, and grudges forgiven. Number time to hold hands and spin in circles. Now, Allison and Pete, braving the hail, dashed back to their weather van to check the radar data. Sure enough, a powerful vortex was gathering toward Silverton, and one larger than they would ever seen in their lives. It is coming.
It's coming.
All right. To all the students of this year's graduating class.
Silverton High School's graduation ceremony had begun. The sun still shone brightly as Gary's gaze scanned the crowd below. Since he got to school, he had not seen a trace of Donnie. Graduation can wait for another day, but fate waits for no one. Donnie is now at the town's abandoned factory. Caitlin's video is eco-themed such drafty. Abandoned factories yield the best shots. He would never have guessed, nor would a tornado.
Okay.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Meanwhile, the storm-chasing team, following the airflow, raced non-stop toward northern Silverton, where the sky was showing signs of brewing clouds were gathering fast.
Got wall cloud to the east.
Wow.
Yeah, but no vortex.
Jacob.
Yeah, we got some circulation.
A tornado's formation hinges on two key conditions. 1. A clash of sharp temperature differences, and 2. Strong vertical wind shear. Think of it like spinning atop strong airflows form an air column that spins around the horizontal axis, termed the horizontal vortex tube in meteorology, which serves as the tornado's embryo. If constant convection supplies energy, it spins faster and faster. Once the spin hits a certain speed, the pressure at the vortex's core plummets and cold air constantly sinks toward the ground. Once it touches down, a home-wrecking tornado baby is born. A tornado's formation to its touchdown often spans just minutes beforehand. They can only rely on instrument data and experience to stick tight to that airflow. That is why they are called storm chaser.
Missions to the east.
The south, right behind the base.
Wow, look at that.
A spinning funnel emerged from the cloud mass, a classic cone shape, the most iconic form of a tornado. Just then, a beat-up pickup truck hauls onto the scene. Those redneck bros had some smarts, knowing to stick behind the pro team, and sure enough, they scored big. Beneath that huge cloud mass, a tubular, horizontally spinning airflow has taken shape. Once that funnel cloud touched down, it morphed into a chimney shape, signaling the tornado had hit its mature phase and its destructive power soared. Where it passed, huge trees were torn right from their roots.
Well, we can see it from right here. It's ripping up trees. It's ripping up everything in its sight. If you're...
Woo, look at the size of that sucker! Look how fast it's spinning, man! Shit, damn, whoa, dude, my arm hairs.
A chance not to be missed. The two redneck bros charged straight for that tornado, thrilled as if about to join the party. The storm-chasing team watched calmly for a bit. The vorticity was still climbing. Worth a chase. Pete gave the order, all took their post, and followed suit. The Weldon Academy headmaster was still rambling on and on. Then, the weather took a sharp turn. A torrential downpour burst out onto the playing field, forcing him to wrap things up hastily. Amid cheers, the high school boys and girls tossed their caps skyward in the torrential downpour. Meanwhile, alarms blared and chaos erupted on site. Gary herded kids indoors while scanning around for his eldest son. The storm-chasing team, in perfect sync, stuck tight to the storm. Allison and Daniel trailed behind, observing data and forecasting its path, while Jacob and Lucas readied their cameras, poised and ready. Leader Pete slammed on the gas, racing to the best filming spot.
Okay, ready for intercept.
While the pros were still en route, the amateurs had already reached the scene, busy snapping photos with the tornado. Watching the tornado is just for kicks. Petey's goal is to park right along the path it is about to take what is known as an intercept point. This lets them enter the storm's core and gather data on all the shifts in pressure, temperature, and peak wind speeds from the tornado's outer edge to its inner core. Such close-range, multi-angle observation data is prized greatly looks scary, but is not safe at all. In 2013, right as the film was shooting, a record-breaking multi-vortex tornado spawned in Oklahoma. Back then, the funnel-shaped vortex swiftly expanded and split into multiple cyclones. The famed storm-chasing team, TWISTX, their weather van was tossed 800 meters into the air. Founder Tim Samaras, his son Paul, and meteorologist Carl Young all perished. Looks like Allison's data was spot on. The chase vehicle parked right in the tornado's path. Pete swiftly deployed the ground anchor. But facing such a colossal beast up close, cameraman Jacob trembled all over in fear. Pete quickly reassured him, "It is okay, just leave it all to this beast beneath us." Pete climbed into the turret. Jacob set up his camcorder, bracing for a showdown, his toes curling back.
Go right, go, gunner!
The tornado made a sharp turn abruptly, veering back towards Silverton High School. Such is a tornado's nature. It has a mind of its own. It weaves about here one moment, gone the next, sometimes even lifting off the ground briefly, only to slam back down hundreds of meters away, much like a game of hopscotch, making it wildly hard to predict. Staff and students, adept at making a mad dash, ran into the school building through the wind and rain. Gary then found his younger son, and was about to ask where Donnie was when. Suddenly, an entire large tree was flung inside him. Only then did folks grasp how grave the situation was. Peering out the window, the tornado had touched down right on campus. Gary hauled his son toward the main hall as throngs of students and staff clogged the corridors, panicking and scrambling everywhere. Boom! The thunder ceased, leaving folks screaming in terror. Reaching the lockers, Gary urged the students to hug the walls, crouch down low, and clutch their heads to brace for the storm's passage. A fierce gust roared in, doors and windows were flung open by the gales, creating strong negative pressure at both ends of the hallway. The narrow hallway turned into a wind tunnel, with wind speeds multiplying. Students along the corridor were tossed about and nearly sucked right out. Post the storm, the hallway lay in shambles. Once sure the students were mostly okay, Gary whipped out his phone to call Donnie. Donnie saw it was his dad's number, sure. He was calling to chew him out, so he hung up fast. Gary switched to Trey's phone and kept dialing furiously. Donnie finally picked up. Hearing his son was at that abandoned factory, Gary's world caved in. He calmed himself, refrained from blaming his son, and just reminded him of something.
Donnie?
Dad?
Just then, the signal cut out. Gary was frantic. The moment he hung up, wails and howls erupted in that rundown factory. The two, still clueless as to what was happening, pricked up their ears. Then, the very next second, the roof was torn clean off. In the heat of the moment, Caitlin yanked Donnie into a pit below. Son gone missing, his dad could say no longer. Gary rushed out of the school building to a horrifying sight. Debris littered the ground, and much of the school lay in ruins. Caitlin figured they had missed it. This one seemed to be an EF2 tornado, scary looking sure, but for old hands like them, just a drizzle. In fact, that was merely the appetizer. A heavy hitter is on its way. We learned from the weather station that a second supercell thunderstorm has formed.
Second cell. This is gonna be bad.
How can there be another system?
I've never seen anything like this.
It also goes by the planar name supercell thunderstorm, or in meteorology circles, the Storm King. Of all thunderstorms, supercells are the rarest and most destructively terrifying. Such storms sport a stable structure lasting for hours on end and will randomly spawn bonus damage like torrential rain, enchanted lightning strikes, and hail. Most weather disasters on Earth are spawned by it. They say the bigger the storm, the pricier the catch. Hearing this, Pete's left eyelid twitched with excitement. He urged Allison to keep a rock-solid lock on that storm, its location. This time he would enter the storm's core. Pete had waited over a year for this one chance, not to prove how great he was, but simply to reclaim all that he had lost. The abandoned factory had half its roof torn off by the gales. The other half collapsed right atop Donnie and his companion. Luckily, they were blessed with good fortune, leaping into the ditch below. They dodged the disaster. This also serves as a lesson in emergency safety. When a tornado strikes, dash to the basement and steer clear of hallways. If doors or windows along a hallway are blown open, a venturi effect will form. If you are outdoors with no buildings to hide in, find a clean drainage ditch and lie down inside it. Ditches create a dead zone within the wind field, which vastly cuts down your risk of being flung airborne or sucked away. Just then, Gary was heading to the factory with Trey. On the way, Trey spilled all about his brother chasing girls, and Dad then realized he knew next to nothing about his own son. A wave of guilt washed over him.
So easy to talk to. I'm just saying.
The streets along the way looked as if they had been hit by aliens. Huge trees were either snapped in two or torn, right from their roots. Driving near home, the area was barely recognizable. A neighbor's dog sat all alone by the roadside, its elderly owner still trapped inside a car. Finally, Trey pulled out the small knife he had snuck along and sliced through the seatbelt. Gary urged the neighbors to seek shelter at the school stadium, while he and Trey pressed on. The storm-chasing team rode into town too, spotting a familiar beat-up pickup by the roadside. The storm was closing in fast, while those two redneck bros were still knocking back bulls on the curb.
Hello, your main man Revis here. I'm with my buddy. Dog.
Having just snapped a pic with that tornado, the two clinked the glasses in celebration. Now they were sure to blow up. Allison pulled over to warn them, but the pair, caught up in the excitement, could not even be bothered to pay her any mind.
Let's go, Allison. Grab a brew. It's like a zombie apocalypse outing.
That movie the redneck brother mentioned. It is a redneck zombie flick, Zombie Apocalypse, and in the mere 30 seconds since they got out of the car, another cyclone was fast forming. A baby tornado was about to spawn. Right before their eyes, everyone whipped out their cameras.
Whoa! Shit, where'd it go? What?
But it fainted, then got choked back down. The redneck old brother grumbled curses across the way. The cloud layer spun, shrinking fiercely and stretching ever closer to the ground. Such an unstable cyclone Allison had never seen one before. Wavering, utterly bizarre. Meanwhile, town sirens blared, and that redneck old brother's beat-up pickup nearby got swept right up. Buildings along the street had over half their structure sheared off by the tornado.
Oh my God!
Just then, Gary and his son, having just turned onto that block, ran smack into the tornado. He yanked the wheel hard. Luckily, they were far enough away that the car spun a few times before crashing to a halt by the roadside. Father and son bolted from the car and dashed toward the bank on the street. Just as Trey joined the crowd inside, a car slammed down right at the entrance. The storm drew near fast. Allison was swept up by the gales.
Seeing things go awry, Gary risked his life to rush forth and grab Allison. Luckily, the storm did not last long and veered off elsewhere.
In just those few short minutes, the destruction was staggering. Many two-story homes along its path were flattened to single stories. After this ordeal, cameraman Jacob was shell-shocked and wanted to quit. Daryl quickly comforted him. Just make it through today, and you will be set for the rest of the year. Gary's car was totaled. Allison learned her son was trapped in a factory north of town, and given they had saved her life, she wanted to give them a ride.
Petey quick-witted, agreed at once, since he had his eye on the footage Trey already had.
$3,000 for your tape.
$3,000?
Yeah.
You got it.
Now we're talking.
Donnie stamped Caitlin's bleeding. Seeing his adept first aid skills, Caitlin grew curious about him. Donnie said his mother, once a nurse, had taught him. In this dire strait, the two young folks slowly opened up to each other.
It was a car accident. I'm sorry. No.
Just as the mood grew, right to huge booms echoed overhead. The floorboards gave way, and floodwaters poured in through the holes above. Luck is a funny thing. Some folks choke on water, while others trip and land on cash. Those two redneck bros seem to have a luck buff. Nothing bad happened to them. The whole way their busted pickup gonged them. They hopped on the mountain bike to court death some more. Rode down the hillside twice, pulled up their pants, and kept filming. The more they fell, the more hyped they got.
You alright, man? Yes!
Over Silverton, the clouds hung terrifyingly low, and rolling thunder boomed non-stop. Trey excitedly scrambled into the tower, BB cam in hand, peering all around. Jacob still wore a stern face, super tense. Pete offered some rare, soft words to comfort him. Just then, Trey spotted the storm first then. More appeared. One to the left, then the right. This Wine King meant business. It spawned 4 rope tornadoes at once. This marks yet another new form. Tornadoes have their own life cycles many times. They touch down as cones, and if conditions are right, they then expand into wedge-shaped tornadoes. When updrafts wane, the wind column gets stretched by surrounding airflow and tightens into a rope-like shape. This is often the phase before a tornado dissipates, but rope tornadoes can also sport some extreme wind speeds.
No!
Several wind bands lashed across the ground like whips, leaving chaos in their wake. Their movements were so erratic that even the seasoned Pete began to panic. The more clueless, the more fearless. Filming such a heart-stopping, spectacular scene, those view counts will just soar. You redneck.
The two bros stood there on the edge, hollering away then. Mere seconds later, they vanished.
The storm-chasing team sped through the storm, but the weather van trailing behind lacking any professional armor got its butt kicked hard by the tornado. The van flipped over by the roadside, and nearby an oil tanker truck gurgled, leaking fuel. Then the tornado, with a flick of its hand, lit a match.
Seeing things went south, Pete whipped a sharp U-turn to go back and save them.
Just as they climbed from the van, the tornado bore down on them. Pete urged all to seek shelter in the church up ahead. The freshly ignited oil tanker, fanned by the winds, blazed ever hotter, its heat wave swept up by the cyclone, soaring skyward. The tornado morphed into a special form, a fire tornado. The surroundings glowed crimson from the flames, which surged upwards, forming a pillar of fire hundreds of meters tall that seemed to pierce through heaven and earth. The howling winds mixed with the roar of flames. So cool. Jacob, wanting to capture this spectacular sight, volunteered to work late, shouldering the camera to film for just a few more seconds. Then, that pillar of fire twisted this way and that, and suddenly sucked him right in. A tornado is terrifying enough as it is, let alone one that is enchanted. Folks had no time to even grieve. Just as they ducked into the church, the storm chased them right in. After some time, the winds gradually died down, thankfully. Thanks to the white-bearded old man in the church. Everyone was safe. The Jacob's body had barely gone cold. The very first thing Pete did was check the precious footage they had shot. Allison had once thought that Pete, much like her, was a storm chaser with a fervent passion for science. Even for the sake of science and pushing limits, you cannot trade human lives for it. Allison saw his cold-blooded ruthlessness for what it was. Screw you. And just like that, the squad split apart.
For you.
I think what happened to Jacob is...
Get 50 meters closer, shoot for 10 more seconds. Thus, the storm chaser treads the very brink of life and death in such extreme quests. This is the tough trade-off storm chaser face and what folks criticize them for. Pushing limits is grand, sure, but if it comes at the cost of sacrificing comrades, it loses all its nobility. But then again, without that readiness to sacrifice oneself, one is not a true storm chaser. Even the most expert protection pales like an ant before nature's might. As we said earlier, Pete's character was modeled after the legendary explorer, Sean Casey. To shoot the IMA X-Stock Tornado Alley, he led his team into tornadoes time and again. For his outstanding contributions in capturing meteorological data and scientific footage, he was named by Discover magazine in 2008 as one of its top 50 outstanding contributors of the year. But he also lost his best friend, his navigator and meteorologist, who lived on in self-blame. The squad split into 3 groups. Pete kept driving his TARDIS to chase the tornado. Daniel stayed at the church to contact Jacob's family, while Allison drove the weather van to help Gary find his son. Inside the abandoned factory, floodwaters rose, poised to swamp them overhead. 2 young folks filming the final moments of their lives on camera. At life's brink, all past woes just melted away, only regret and unfinished love for their family remained, blabbering on and on, life lesson.
Come here.
By the time Gary reached the factory, it was already a pile of rubble ahead. He kept shouting his son's name, but aside from the pouring rain, there came no reply. Just then, the younger son spotted his brother's tripod amidst a pile of rubble. Faint cries for help echoed from below, as floodwaters had already swamped their heads. The folks tried to move the pier blocking the opening, exerting all their might, yet it would not budge one bit. Trey dashed back to the car, slammed on the gas, and rammed the rubble, forcing open the crack. The group cleared the debris and swiftly pulled Caitlin up, but Donnie still had not surfaced. Gary, frantic, leaped into the water pit. Thanks to that small knife Trey had snuck in, Gary cut the rope, hauled Donnie up, and a round of CPR finally pulled Donnie back from death's brink. Quick, just then, Pete rolled up in his TARDIS, and just as I was about to praise him, that bro's true colors showed.
Camera hard drives. You were down there?
Yeah.
Camera rolling?
Nearby, clouds rumbled, seemed they were still brewing up a big one. For safety's sake, Pete urged everyone aboard the TARDIS. En route to the school shelter, the National Weather Service issued its highest alert. The supercell thunderstorm finally revealed its true form, truly worthy of its title, the Storm King.
Touchdown, we now have 2 very large tornadoes moving toward the town of Silverton. All residents of Shaw County should seek shelter immediately. They are converging, which could generate wind speeds of up to They go, they just converged. We are looking at wind speeds inside the funnel at over 300 miles per hour. This is definitely an EF5.
This is the biggest tornado I've ever seen.
That big cow billboard atop the steakhouse, that is a nod, of course, to that 1996 disaster flick for the old-timers, Twister. This classic scene has been referenced in parody time and again, even showing up in Scary Movie. Some 80% of tornadoes are EF0 and EF1 rated. Super tornadoes are extremely rare, those reaching EF4 are dubbed kings, making up just about 1%. But the damage they wreak is devastating, let alone EF5. In fact, tornado ratings are all assigned post-event, based on the extent of the damage. If EF2 can rip off roofs, EF3 can toss trains about, and EF4 can flatten entire buildings, then EF5 means wiping out a whole city. This one here is an EF5, since that is the highest rating plus 2 of them. Merging together is sheer world-ending stuff. West Wilton High, the shelter, was mere child's play before them. Gary and his crew rushed to the school, persuading the principal to evacuate all shelter seekers forthwith. Everyone boarded school buses and drove in the opposite direction, getting as far away as they could. Pete returned to the TARDIS, looking conflicted. An EF5 tornado is a once-in-a-lifetime sight. For a storm chaser, that is the ultimate battlefield of honor. But Pete chose to escort the children. Just as the vast convoy pulled away, the dark, dense storm behind them swiftly spread, swallowing the school whole. In the blink of an eye, all buildings vanished into thin air, as everyone made a mad dash for their lives. And behind them loomed a cloud wall kilometers wide, blotting out the sky, exuding immense strength. The widest tornado on record worldwide is the El Reno tornado we spoke of earlier, the one that wiped out the TWISTE X-storm chasing team. Its max diameter hit 4.18 kilometers, peak winds of 265 kilometers per hour. Luckily, it touched down on the open US Road 81, bypassing the densely populated Oklahoma City, and was rated EF3 in intensity. The governor stated that had the tornado struck Oklahoma City, it would have wrought a Bible-described divine retribution-style catastrophe.
The storm did not just chase them, it cut them off. With one gentle blow, a high-voltage transmission tower slammed straight down, landing right in front of Gary's car, with bare wires sizzling on the ground. That slick little combo does that ring a bell about that old pal of yours chasing quotas. This film's director, Stephen Qualley, also helmed Final Destination 5, so that high school principal sure knew all about step voltage. The road ahead was totally blocked, so the group had to find another way faced with Allison's plea for help. The TARDIS took the lead, but had not gone far. The dead-end road ahead was blocked off again, seeing they could not outrun it. Donnie had a flash of insight. There was a sewer pipe nearby. At this point, everyone had no choice but to get out of the car. A crew frantically pried open the manhole cover. Nearby dark clouds billowed across the sky, a colossal wedge-shaped vortex that looked like an inverted ladder spinning down toward the ground, a wedge tornado. On the night of the 6th of July this year, the one that struck my hometown was this beast, whose broad base and wide reach often bring even greater destruction.
Okay, everybody in! Everybody in!
One by one, folks scurried into the culvert. Wind King is arriving. Expect some slight turbulence. Please fasten seatbelts and stow your tray tables.
Come here!
The whole world seemed to dim. Planes on the airport tarmac were tossed up one by one, like toys. Whether it is steel-reinforced concrete buildings or those multi-ton kings of the road, all are tossed about like scraps of paper in the gales. Once airborne, objects get swept up by the tornado hundreds of meters into the sky, then spinning, tearing apart, and disintegrating within that vortex before being flung out at relative speeds of 200 to 300 kilometers per hour, turning into missiles that slam into the ground. Such is the terrifying destructive power of a tornado. Well, the manhole cover atop the pipe flew off, and the iron grill was teetering too. Seeing the whole crew was about to meet their end, Pete whipped out his prized hard drive, shoved it to Gary, and crawled out of that pipe all by himself. By the time Allison realized what he was doing, Pete had already braved the storm and crawled back to the surface. Old Pete sharp-tongued, but soft-hearted, harsh with his words, yet willing to sacrifice himself when it counted. He climbed into his TARDIS, revved up his beloved ride, and slammed it hard against the pipe's opening. Then, Pete pulled out his ace move, dropping the grappling hook to anchor the vehicle. But the ground was slick, so the grappling hook could not secure at all. Pete quickly radioed Allison, telling her to secure the winch on her car to that pipe. At the other end of that pipe sat a crashed truck cab. Allison and Gary worked together to secure the steel cable to the truck. With all set, Pete climbed up the tower, ready to face his battlefield.
Titus versus Tornado.
The sky-obscuring storm finally arrived. After a fierce, wild roar, a strange silence fell all around. Storm chasers know this means they are now inside the storm side.
It's not gonna last. We're in the eye.
Oh, God.
Guys, the trailing winds will be even stronger. You gotta hang on.
Okay.
Once the eye passes, the storm will strike even harder. Allison wants everyone to brace for the final onslaught. The calm was fleeting, followed swiftly by even fiercer gales. Even the sturdiest TARDIS stood no chance against a storm of this caliber. Snap, the winch mount tore from the front bumper, and the TARDIS was swept skyward by the gales.
Titus's lights were instantly snuffed out, proving once more that old saying, mankind is but a speck before nature. Pete and his beloved ride were hurled up into the clouds. For a fleeting moment, piercing through the thick clouds, Pete glimpsed the azure sky and brilliant sunshine. Amidst the heart of this apocalyptic disaster lay a pocket of tranquility. To behold such a sight in one's final moment was nature's last reward for this martyr. The storm, heartless, sent Pete plummeting from heaven in a flash.
Shaped. It's the wedge is decreased a little bit, and it looks like it's roping out at Air Depot Road. Man, look at that rope on that thing. Feeder band looks like it's... The
Wind King ceased its frenzy, fading into several rope-like tornadoes that slowly dissipated in the air. Mother Nature had donned a new face. The dark clouds at the horizon parted, and soft sunlight streamed down. The disaster was over, leaving Silverton in ruins, with countless folks having lost their homes. When the Downey brothers picked up their camera again to film their classmates and neighbors, folks' outlook had shifted subtly. Beyond life and death, everything else was trivial.
Every day's just fine. 'Cause I'm alive. That's it.
I don't think we really have to say anything, you know? We're all here now, together, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, it is.
But the most insane part, the grand prize winner two redneck brothers got swept up into the sky and survived. Those two never lost their spark. Forget that whole plane and simple is true happiness. Thing becoming an overnight sensation is way more real. Let us triple combo to help this vlogger make their dream come true.
Man, we are gonna be so rich! Oh shit!
Into the Storm came out in 2014, right as Hollywood genre films stood at a crossroads of digital change, with tons of mockumentary films gaining traction. Films like Cloverfield Paranormal Activity, Apollo 18, and Chronicle all punched far above their weight, boasting tiny costs but staggering returns. New Line Cinema keenly noted that since that 1996 tornado flick, Hollywood had not churned out a pure tornado disaster film in ages. Riding the wave of the mockumentary boom, giving it a shot seemed like a solid move. Sure enough, on a $5,000 budget, it snagged nearly $200 million worldwide. Our mainland theaters alone raked in $17 million, plus selling DVDs netted them another tidy sum. Director Stephen Qualley is James Cameron's staunch right-hand man. He was the B-unit director for both Titanic and Avatar. Since he learned from the master, he's a tech whiz himself, of course. He brought many tech innovations to the set. Stuff like using cranes to hoist custom water pipes to simulate rain, or, in sun-drenched Michigan, forcibly erecting dozens of meters high shade cloths to control the lighting. Though it boasts a mockumentary feel, the SFX work was anything but sloppy. Even each tornado's form and movement were crafted strictly from real-life footage. Hanging with James Cameron pays off. He tapped 15 FX firms, which together churned out over 600 VFX shots for the film. It preserves the in-the-moment feel of a mockumentary, while retaining the visual punch needed for a blockbuster. This blend makes for a fun try. Well, that wraps up this episode's Movie Zone. If you like this show, please smash that like button to help